Welcome to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, TDT, or you can refer to me as Miss T. We're going to continue to talk about some of these fights that have occurred and some of the fights that are coming up now. We're going into the month of November, and this is a hot month for boxing. Um, this weekend is going to be a good weekend for boxing as well. So let's start too. Welcome to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, TDT. You can refer to me as Miss T. For those of you watching me on Facebook, what's going on? I want you to stop what you're doing. I want you to go to YouTube and I want you to look up Boxing Fans Talk TV and hit the live icon. Come into the chat and chop it up with us. You can always call 706 804 That's 706-804-4449. You could join the show that way. I want to check to make sure that my phone lines are working. They're not even up. So hold on 1 second, you guys. Um, so look at me. I thought I had the phone lines up. But anywho, we're gonna get into some boxing talk and some boxing news. What's going on? It's not much happening different from yesterday. Uh, Everything's pretty much the same. I'm almost there, y'all. Hold tight. Hold tight. Mm, I normally would have had this up. Got to make sure it's turned on. Phone lines are open, so you guys can chime in anytime that you want. Demetrius Bright in the building was popping king. He said, "Salute Queen T." Reggie Bell in the building was popping king. Um, so y'all, we had a good talk yesterday about the fights and things that are going on and things that are coming up. As you guys know, that November is going to be a hot month for boxing. Uh, it's a great weekend every weekend in November. We got uh, Canelo and Plant right there in the beginning. The first week, we got on the 13th, we got David Benavidez and Uskatiki. Some good people on that card as well. That's a Showtime fight. That's not pay per view. Um, the following week, I believe, on the 20th, we got none other than Bud Crawford and Sean Porter. And there's some good fights on that card as well. And then rounding out in the end, we got the rescheduled fight of Figueroa and Cool Boy Step. And we got Gary Antonio Russell on that card. We got Gary Antoine Russell on the 13th. So November is looking to be a great month of boxing. We just got to get through. We got through this last weekend, which was a good weekend for boxing, and so with the Shakur Stevenson fight, hey, it's come to everybody's attention that it wasn't promoted well. You have a lot of black consumers when it comes to boxing, But a lot of these promoters don't believe that. So they don't cater to you. They don't even try to get you as a consumer. They just take you being a consumer for granted. We also are learning different things of how the business works and everything. And we try to put it out. We try to have guests on, catching people young in their career. I'm My show is fairly new, but I see other shows try to get these young fighters on and try to catch them like in the beginning, to give them some pointers, some things to watch out for, some sort of do's and don'ts, unwritten laws and policies or protocol, and hopefully in the hopes of helping them make better choices for their careers. Because we know a lot of fighters get caught up and they get shafted. You know, they get the short end of the stick, and it's not cool. It's not cool to put your body through all that punishment and then come up short. But before we jump all the way in, I'm gonna say shout outs to the water challenges. Where are you guys at with your water today? I've drank 9 bottles. That's it. I've drank 9 bottles of water. Uh, that's what is that? 72 ounces. I still got some water to drink. This wasn't the perfect day for drinking water for me. I didn't quite. I think I got to 11 bottles yesterday, and my goal is 12 or more. Um, so nine. I make. I feel like I will make it to the end and get the right amount of water. But I don't know. But Demetrius, how much water did you drink this time? Let us sister know. Um, and we know that we do this every day. I'm gonna ask that question all the time because I do a show on Sunday about health and wellness, about finding the health in you, and it's relevant. So we want us to all feel good and get better and everything. It was some stuff that I had in my notes yesterday um, that I didn't really go into, and so I'm going to rehash some of that. Demetrius said he has 77 ounces. We neck and neck, Demetrius. It's getting hard, ain't it? It should get to a point that it's second nature. It should get. How you doing on your no dairy? Because that this week we're not doing dairy, and we X out all meat this week as well, except chicken and tuna. For any of you who want to go hardcore uh, with the change in diet, let me know. And the email is scrolling at the bottom, boxingfanstalk@gmail.com. If you want to go hardcore and see results really quickly, let me know through a private email. We could chop it up and figure out a good recipes for you and send you on your way. And I'm telling you, you will be amazed what can happen in a week. Uh, Demetrius Bright said no dairy, but I have eaten some turkey. Well, it's a bird. Remember, I told you you can pick your bird. When they tell you can eat a meat, if you're gonna eat a meat, eat a bird. Eat a bird of some sort. Turkey, chicken, something like that. Turkey is cool. Uh, and then Demetrius said, I got one more 17 ounces left. Yeah, well, hey, knock it out, knock it down. Yeah, I know what you meant, player. So yeah, if you gotta eat a bird, if you gotta eat some meat, eat a bird, eat some kind of fowl. That's what it says in the book. A fowl is a bird of some type. So chicken, turkey, duck, geese. I don't know what you eat. I don't really go beyond chicken and turkey. Turkey is good meat. That's good meat. There's nothing wrong with turkey. Um, some people gonna make this change and they want to continue to eat meat or continue to eat some things. And I'm not saying you can't. What we saying is we're trying to find the health in you. In order to find the health in you, we have to clean your system out. We have to detox your system. That is the goal. That is what we're pushing. But I'm not on here pushing, oh, we're gonna lose 10 pounds or 20 pounds in a week. Even though I know that's what's going to happen. But that's not what we're pushing. We're pushing you detoxing your system, cleaning it out, kind of like doing a spring cleaning. And then you can start adding shit back. Andrew Charles was popping king. He said salute. Mitchell said turkey meat mixed with spinach, peas, and carrots. Yeah, that's cool, but remember the toppings. Can't have the butter. Can't have that. Just maybe some salt and pepper. But you just gotta remember the toppings that you might mix to make that spinach and the peas and the carrots. When you start eating one ingredient type foods, it's not that you can't have ketchup. Let me give you an example. It's not that you can't have ketchup, right? Ketchup does a number on us and we don't even realize. All of us. I always say especially black people because in the last 40 to 50 years, the black people's body have morphed or changed in a way that it has never really been for centuries. And it got everything to do with what we eat now and how we eat. And so we want to get back to the old us. you know, you got to find out what ails you. And as I said, you can't know what ails you by guessing. You have to like have tangible proof, or you can't fix nothing when you're trying to guess at it. You know what I'm saying? You can't say, I think it's ketchup, but you never test the theory. Is it ketchup? There's a way to test it. The way to test it is to stop eating it for a while. And then after about a month, introduce it back. And guess what? Something's going to happen. And you're going to be like, eureka. It was the ketchup. If you introduce a food item back and nothing happens, nothing changes, nothing that sticks out to you, then it wasn't that food item. But if you reintroduce the food item and you're itching that day, your skin is dry that day, something ain't right that day, then you should know or put it together that hey, it's not my friend. It doesn't like me, or my body doesn't like it. Let me just say, use olive oil. Good job, good job. You know, so that's all we doing. And I hope that everybody who's watching joins in and give their testimonies because what I'm saying is absolutely correct, and it takes time. You guys will have more success than I ever will, and you will have it quicker than me because I'm working from a deficit that I can't really overcome. But you guys are not in my predicament, so I do hope that you guys join us and and get your detox on. Uh, Yesterday I wanted to talk about Jamal Charlo calling out Triple G to unify the 160. He wants to get that fight before Triple G gets too old, and they saying like, "Oh, I beat up a old man or whatever." Um, they have been ducking Charlo forever. I don't. I try not to. I don't know. I'm trying this new thing where I'm not really talking about the Charlos. I'm not gonna shit on them. I'm not going out of my way to hurt them or say anything disparaging about them. But I really can't be concerned with them anymore. I just can't. Um, you know, they they do some things that I just don't understand and don't want to understand. And so it's just I have to like drop them off my roster of people to support and really care about and be concerned about. So, but the reason why I'm talking about this because it is a belt. We follow the belts. Triple G has a belt, I guess, and Charlo wants to unify. And the truth of the matter is, they scared to fight Charlo, or at least that is the way it appears. Um, if the fight happens, it should be free. I hope it's free because I'm not paying for it. Because remember, we broke ass ninjas, and I'm saying it nicely because that's what they think of us. We're broke ass ninjas, and they don't really give a damn about us broke ass ninjas. But us broke ass ninjas are part of the people that pay your salary. You know what I'm saying? Us broke folks. We pay your salary. So he can't be concerned about us. We can't be concerned about him. Um, he doesn't give a care about us anyway. So I'm not chasing them. I'm not even gonna try to big them up. Again, I'm just talking about it because it is the belts. It matters. If they don't have the belt, who else got the belt? They're good fighters. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking nothing away from their ability in the ring. They apparently do not want black people to follow them. That's the message that I take. Somebody else might be like, "Oh, you're being too literal." There's no other way for me to look at it. So, and they black, so that's funny, huh? I'm not biased, and I can be objective. This is how they carry on. These are the things that they say. They deeply feel that way. Well, OJ felt that way too, till he didn't, and that's how it normally is. I'm not saying that the Charlos gonna go out and commit murder. I ain't say that. Don't take me like that. But they gonna feel that way until they have that moment. And us black folks know what we mean by until you have your moment. And when you have your moment, just keep the same energy. Because I'm gonna keep it when it doesn't matter. You cannot pull the race card when you need us. If you don't like us, you don't like us. I ain't crying about it. Mm. And like I said, the only reason I'm mentioning is because it's for a unification match. Um, it came out that Shakur might be fighting Lomachenko next instead of who he asked for. Now the man has earned the right to ask for who he asked for, which was Valpez. Now y'all know. Let me do a recap for those of y'all who might not know. Valdez, aka Valpez, is what we call him, got busted before his last fight. I think his fight went down in September. Uh, of taking a banned substance. He was supposed to be on the clean drug program according to the sanctioning belt that governs him, and they busted him. But because, and I really believe this, because he is Mexican and he's affiliated with the president of the WBC, who only, he favors Mexicans, they didn't charge him up. They didn't hold his feet to the fire. And you have to ask yourself, why not? I mean, anybody else, your feet would be held to the fire. When David Benavidez got caught with having cane in his system, and that's recreational drugs. If you doing cane, that should hurt you, right? Um, he had to sit his ass down. They had to take that belt from him. When Sha'Carri Richardson got busted for weed, they she didn't go to the Olympics. Missed opportunity. So it should be, or we're used to, when people break the rules, their feet is being held to the fire. But if you're Mexican and you either hold the WBC belt or you're going for the WBC belt, you get a pass. And it is what it looked like. And so that's what happened to Valdez. He wasn't held accountable. Nothing happened to him. He failed the A sample and the B sample. Nothing happened to him. He was able to do his fight. Uh, it was just cheating on so many levels. He lost that fight, and they still gave him the fight, the judges, because we know that Mauricio Suleiman picks the judges, or he has something to do. The sanctioning bodies had something to do with picking the judges and the ref. Nobody held this man accountable, and he got his ass whooped, and he won a fight, even though he got his ass whooped. But he's supposed to be all that. They praise him. They put him up on the pedestal. The state of Arizona, I'm not sure where, but somewhere in the state of Arizona, they have erected a statue in his honor, as if he's an honorable person. And so I'm sure Shakur Stevens like this man is nothing. Let me take care of that, and we can keep it pushing. He has a belt, so Shakur Stevens is well within his right to want to fight with him. If y'all not gonna hold him accountable, and Shakur doesn't care that he was using banned substance. He still want the fight. And Shakur just won his fight this weekend in great fashion. He dominated. He played along with his opponent. He could have got his opponent out at any time. He was always in control. But yet, he gets to the end. He tells, the world and his promoter what he wants, and they're not going to honor that. Instead, they want to link him with Lomachenko. Well, Lomachenko is probably not going to move down and wait to fight him. Lomachenko currently fights at 135. Shakur Steven fights at 130. So the probability of Lomachenko coming down and wait to fight Shakur Stevens is slim to none. Um, I don't think Shakur Stevens is going up in weight either. So I don't know. Maybe that's just talk to get, sometimes they just put stuff out just to make news, just to have something to talk about. Maybe, Loma Chico fight is coming up to get people interested in seeing his fight. I'm actually not pressed to see his fight. It'll be a good fight. I'm somewhat interested in knowing what Comey is going to be able to do, but I can watch the highlights. I could be good with the highlights. I don't know if that's a free fight that comes on TV, then of course I'll watch it. If it's a pay per view, I'm not buying a Lomachenko fight. I'm just not gonna do it. There's a sneaky suspicion that I have, and I'm not always right, that Comey might can handle Lomachenko. Because what we see or what we have learned since Lomachenko lost all his belts to Teofimo Lopez, not that long ago, what we have learned is that if you hurt Lomachenko, all that movement and that matrix shit is gonna be null and void. It can be knocked out. Like you can negate his ability to move and do angles and shit if you hurt him. Comey has that kind of power. Comey is not a slouch. Teofimo Lopez got lucky in the sense that he got to him early. I'm not saying that Teofimo Lopez could not have won had the fight went on for rounds and rounds. But what I'm saying is Teofimo pretty much got him out of there. It was the first or second round, I can't remember. But he caught him with a shot and hurt him bad and won the fight. He could have easily caught Teo. Comey is not a slouch. He can hit hard. And Lomachenko gonna find that out. Now, if Lomachenko beats him, I think he has to jump on him really quick, piece him up. You got to make him not want to fight. You got to make him feel like I'm scared to even move or do something because you're gonna counter me. You're gonna always be first. You're gonna make me miss. You're gonna negate my inside game. You're gonna negate my outside game. I mean, Comey could be, put in that predicament by Loma. I don't doubt that Loma can't put him in that predicament. My thing is, I never look at Lomachenko as a hard hitter, but I've always looked at Comey as a hard hitter. So when they fight December 11th at Madison Square Garden, that's going to be interesting. As I said, I don't think it's a pay per view. It's a top rank event. I don't know if it's ESPN Plus, some kind of way. We'll all figure out how we can get that fight. But I'm not gonna, I'm not buying no pay per view for no Lomachenko fight. That's just not gonna happen. So, um, going back to Shakur Stevens. Now, Shakur called out Valdez. He didn't call out Lomachenko. I'm not saying Shakur is scared of Lomachenko, but he didn't call him out. He's not in his weight class. So for us to go off on a tangent and talk about a fight between Shakur and Lomachenko is wasted time and energy because Shakur is trying to clean out his division. He can't think about another division and be useful in his own, trying to clean out his own division. He gotta be focused on what's in front of him. And right now, Lomachenko cannot be in front of him if he's a 135 pounder because Shakur is a 130 pounder. So that didn't make sense for Bob to float that out. But you know, Valdez works for Bob. Shakur works for Bob. Lomachenko works for Bob. Which one is more exciting? Which one is the one you can make the most money off? I'm sure that's what Bob thinking. But Shakur has a belt. Do Bob is Bob trying to set it up so that Lomachenko can get another belt? I don't know. You know who he favors and you know who he don't favor. So um it's interesting to see how that works out. Bob is the master manipulator. You know, what's his name? Cal from boxing section makes a good point. When people are always talking about the promoter and who works for the promoter, like do the fighter work for the promoter or do the promoter works for the fighter? And then you always hear all these people say, I work for my own self. Like you hear Devin Haney say that. Or Earl Spencer say, I work for my own self. Floyd used to say that. So, Cal and I think Fred has an interesting take on how that works, period. And their take is that the fighter works for the promoter. And I know a lot of people probably said, no, why does this matter? What this got to do with boxing? Because the promoter is pulling the strings. The fighter doesn't have that much clout. The fighter doesn't have that much power. The fighter can't make nothing happen. Nothing. And y'all gonna understand more when I talk about Tank. But the fighter works for the promoter. And what the promoter want and how the promoter wants it is how it's gonna get done. Fred, he exposed a part of a contract that was a part of court documents uh, that's belonging to or affiliated with Al Heyman, showing that in the contracts they make it known. Al Heyman is not a promoter, but he's a manager. He might as well be. He kind of is, but he's a manager. And the way if you sign with him, you're under his domain, lock, stock, and barrel. You cannot make moves without him. You cannot make moves to nobody. You can't do nothing for your career without him. Even if you want to start up something and get it started or whatever, you can't even do that because he can shut it all down. You have to go through them first. You have to ask their permission first. And this is how it is for most fighters. And it's frustrating because it's all about the promoter or the manager's bottom line, and it should be about the person's career. Who's the person who got the career on the line? It should be their bottom line, the fighter. But it's not. It's about everybody else bottom line, but the fighter. The fighter might as well be an inanimate object, just a product, because that's basically how they're being sold. You're a product, and when we wind you up, you move, and then when it's done, we collect the money and we give you a little piece of the action. And it's unfortunate. It's a lot of people that's getting the short end of the stick in this method or whatever. But that's how it is. And if you listen to the fighters real closely, they'll tell on themselves. They'll tell you that it's exactly how it works. Demetrius said Shakur did call both of them out, but he prefers Valpez. Okay, I didn't know he called Lomachenko out, but it don't make no sense to call Lomachenko out. Lomo is not coming to 130. As far as we know, Shakur is not going to 135. So isn't that like a waste of time? Like I would be like, what's the point? The only thing I can think of is they say stuff like that to promote their fights to get people interested. Because if you're gonna say I want to fight Lomo and you think Shakur is a great fighter, then you're gonna be like, let me see what this Lomo cat is about. When is his next fight? Because you don't want to go back and look at a fight of Lomo 2 or 3 years ago to assess how he gonna do with a person like Shakur Stevens. You want to go look at the most recent or the most current, And what better way to look at it? Be like, oh, Loma got a fight coming up. So if Lomo and Shakur about to get it on, let me go see what Lomo hitting for. And the objective was now met. It was now met. Because all they wanted you to do in the first place is to come check out the fight. They wanted viewership. They wanted you to pay for the fight. To come to the fight. They wanted you to do the pay-per-view. That's all they wanted. So the objective has been met. And it'll be on to the next one. They're not gonna say each other's name for a minute till another one about to fight. But fighters gotta stop doing that. Or we as fans gotta be on the uptake of that. We gotta be leery of that, and we gotta be on the uptake of that. We gotta know it when we hear it and when we see it, and then be like, you know what, I'm not falling for that. The banana in the tailpipe, I'm not falling for it. You want me to go see your fight. Now, you bringing up somebody that I am interested in the hopes of y'all two names cross pollinating, that I'm going to go and watch your fight. That's all you wanted me to do. Just advertise and say, hey, I got a fight coming up. December 11th. Be there or be square. I promise I'll put on a great show. What's wrong with that? Why we still got to bring up other people's name, cross pollinate them to get people talking and stuff, and there is no intention of ever fighting each other. That's taking the fans for granted, and it's not right. You shouldn't want to do that. But we as fans need to be smarter and peep that game and just don't fall for it. That's all. If you didn't ever want to go watch Lomachenko, don't go watch it. It doesn't matter who he gonna fight next. You're not following him. But if you're following, let's say, Teofimo, and that's your guy, and Teofimo says in his schedule, hey, I'm about to fight Lomachenko next. Then you can get involved with the Lomachenkos and looking up his videos and all this stuff. Because you're following your guy who's put himself in the mix with that person. But Lomachenko or Shakur calling out each other, that's just crazy. Demetrius says, so in essence, like Darwin Price Jr. said, essentially promoters are the pimps and boxers are the hoes, pretty much. And that's what was said on Barbershop Conversation last night when he had a good interview with Darwin Price. That's what they're saying. These promoters own them. They run them. Y'all remember I talked about the three pillars of boxing. I talked about the fact that it's a business. That's pillar number one. You can ask what type of business. It's an entertainment business. Nothing different from acting, singing, dancing, Broadway, all this stuff. There's entertainment. Sports is entertainment. That's the whole point of or the agenda of the sporting event is to entertain. And it's prize fighting. That's pillar number two. So depending on your performance, i.e., if your performance leads you to the path of becoming a champion, a unified champion, an undisputed champion, it's still your performance. And based on your performance is how they're going to dictate how much you can get paid, how much reward you receive, what will be your prize from fight to fight. All of that is contingent upon your performance. And since we know it's an entertainment business and we know the fans want to see warrior action, they want to see people going at it mano a mano. They want to see people throwing down, having to pull it from the mud. They want to see adversity. They love a good story behind it. Like Daniel Jacobs had a great story. They used to say it all the time, before his fights. I mean, all the damn time. How he was a great prospect and then he got cancer. And it was the kind that could have really took him out of there. And he overcame that. And he has a son, and he came back to boxing when the type of cancer he had should have derailed anybody in any kind of sport. They would say this all the time. That's the good story. That's the entertainment part. That's the soap opera part. As we know, wrestling is big business. Why? Because wrestling is a soap opera. Boxing would do good to be similar to that. It is similar to that. It's just not as neatly packaged as how wrestling do theirs. But a good soap opera is a good soap opera. So you have a good story about a fighter. They come from humble beginnings. They went through a lot of adversities just to get here. And they fighting with the world on their shoulders, with their family on their shoulders. And they becoming successful. They get in the ring. They understand the sweet science. They make you like ooh ah. I when I think of people like that, I'm thinking of Sweet Pea. Sweet Pea makes you ooh ah. Sweet Pea came from humble beginnings, from the Vot. Yes, Lord. Yes, yes. He was from Virginia. Sweet Pea could stand right in front of you, and it ain't a doubt in anybody mind that you are missing. He's moving, you know. He's and that shit looking sweet. That's why they call him Sweet Pea. And you're so thoroughly entertained that this dude can stand right there and you see the determination and the guts of his opponent, like throwing everything, coming from Mississippi with it, trying to hit him. And he's moving around, all entertainment. And he can't hit him. And then Sweet Pea do some fundamental something, some shots, maybe a 1-2, maybe a straight right or a jab or something, and pretty much get his opponent out of there or beats him down throughout the whole fight. That's entertainment. You want to see that. You're gonna pay to see that. So this is what I mean by the fighter dictates his prize by his performance because it's a business. It's an entertainment business. But the fighters get a prize. Win, lose, or draw. You could be a fighter that lose all the time, but you give people hell on wheels if they get in there with you. You could be one of them fighters that people gotta think about, like, I could beat them, but mm, I don't I don't really feel like going through that battle. You could be one of them type guys, like a Sean Porter, that can wear you down, just wear you out. You beat him, but he just wear you out. So when you go to a Sean Porter fight, it's gonna be a lot of action movement. You know that. If it was furniture in the ring, it'd be some furniture movement. You know that. It's almost guaranteed. Because that's what he brings. That's entertainment. So he should get paid. But he's not reaching the mark. He's not getting those championships and keeping them. As soon as he get them, it seems like people know, hey, Sean, I want to fight with you. Because they know he's not going to be able to maintain or sustain that championship. They know it. And so as quickly as he got it, it left him. That will get him in the Hall of Fame. The fact that he is that type of fighter, he's entertaining. It should get him decent paychecks and all that, but he's not reaching the mark. So when they do want to shit on him and not pay him enough, they feel validated. but the promoters or your managers run all of that. Even when you work for yourself and you got your own promotional company, you answer to somebody. Because last time I checked, you're not front loading the whole bill. You would never do that. Somebody front loading the whole bill. And if that's the case, then they run the show. So contrary to what a lot of us believe, including myself, I'm really starting to believe that these fighters work for their promoters, not the other way around. And you would think, logically speaking, it should be the other way around, but it's not. It's not the other way around. They pay you, the money comes to them. They pay you a percentage because they keep a percentage. So just like at your job, you go to work, your boss pay you. Your boss does not pay you. Sorry for my head itching. Your boss does not pay you what the company made. Doesn't pay you that. The company could pull in $1 million. You ain't getting that check. You getting a damn fraction, and I mean a small fraction of what the company pulled in as your paycheck. But the boss paid you. You work for him or her. You're not running shit. You always, in a sense, we all are always working for somebody because we have to follow rules. You said per contract. Let me see. You said October 29th, 2001, James Toney versus Jeremy Williams. Yes, indeed. That's going down. So October, we still got to finish out the month, but yes, indeed, I saw that. That's going down. So I just wanted to say that because I'm actually starting to believe that. Um, you say your salary plus a bonus. Yeah, I'm actually just starting to believe that the fighters don't have that much willpower or power as they say they do. Even with Floyd, he worked for somebody. He was getting money from somebody. But um Floyd was getting enough money that it didn't matter. He's got purse bids. I mean his purse was like 40, $50 million. Then he had purses that were like $100 million or more. And then his promotional company involved. So the back end, Floyd 2 and 3 years later will still be getting money off of 2 or 3 years ago a fight he must have did. So he's making so much money, it really don't matter who the fuck is the boss. Everybody getting paid with Floyd. But when you're a fighter and you only making $10,000 a fight or $5,000 a fight, this shit really does matter. It really does matter. So let me tell y'all, having seen Barbershop Conversation, and like I said, sometimes when I read articles and stuff, I catch a word or I catch a little nugget and I be like, he was just talking about that. This is what he's saying, basically. So Tank Davis is stating that he feels he is one of what he called the four kings in the 135 division. And he is willing to fight the other three kings. So I was like, where have I heard that before? So it couldn't be like a mirror image of Tommy Hearns, Roberto Duran, Marvin Hagler, and Sugar Ray Leonard. It's this modern day era of the Four Kings. But I guess what I found more fascinating is who they was calling kings. Some I have no problem with. Whether you like them or whether you don't like them, they got a belt. They said Ryan Garcia. I got a problem with that. Let me just stop right there. I have a problem with that because the other people is Teofimo, Devin Haney, and Ryan Garcia. So let's jump on the Ryan train, shall we? Now Ryan calls himself King Rye. I don't know why, but that's it's free country. That's what he want to be called. Um, Ryan is not a king in boxing, and it's kind of disgraceful to even consider him amongst the kings. Like I don't even know if the 135 pound, and I'm including all of them, can even say they are one of a four kings or something. I don't even know how you get that. That is the most duckiness, if that's a word, duckiness or to duck um division I have ever seen as of late. That division has more ducking going down than anything. And for anybody to write an article talking about the four kings, are you crazy? Are you crazy? We have faith in Javante Davis because he fights who's in front of him. He kind of let it be known in this article he don't have that kind of power. He was like, I hope to one day fight these guys, but that's not up to me. I don't have nothing to do with that. That's up to Mayweather Promotion. Boom, ding, 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 right there, confirming what Fred Hawthorne says on Barbershop Conversation, confirming what Kyle says on the boxing section. It's not up to me. It's up to Mayweather. I hope to fight those guys, but he wasn't like Mayweather specifically, but Mayweather Promotions. Mayweather Promotions is his promoter. Tank, how is it not up to you? You're saying your hope to fight these guys. So why can't that be done? If that's what you want to do, why is it not up to you? We have to ask that question. But he let it be known. I don't have that kind of power. He actually said that. That's up to Mayweather Promotions. So there you have it, right there. We can bring up a lot of people. People who said that they're in charge of their own career, but somehow can't get fights. How much in charge are you really of your own career? I have to ask that question. Because if you're in charge, you just say, I want, therefore it is, right? But if you're not in charge, you can't do that. Now, what people can hide behind is they can say, well, I'm in charge of my career. I'm the boss, but I gotta work with this other promoter. They're in charge of their guy. I can't make that promoter make that guy fight. And then the promoters will be like, we only doing what the fighters ask us to do. And it's always like you point to the left, you point to the right, you point north, you point south, but you're never gonna get a straight answer from nobody because nobody's taking ownership on anything. But Tank let it slip. He said, I don't have that kind of power. I want to, but I don't have that kind of power. Demetrius Bright said the four kings should be Tank, Teofimo Haney, and Shakur excluded Ryan. Exactamundo. Ryan should never be in nobody's king list or pound for pound list or anything. And I tell you why. Because he's about a lot of tomfoolery. He's a chiduck. He's a chicken and he ducks. And it's obvious. You fought for the title eliminated. You win it, and then you don't want to fight the person with the title. You want to fight everybody else, and then you pull out this, that, and that. Like everything got to be perfect. It's almost like it's kind of like I know it's ideal to wait to have children, right? I know this. You know, you're a teenager, you should not be having no children. You should wait till you're grown. It's it can always be ideal situation, but life is not like that. I don't care how you prepare yourself to be a parent, you are not prepared. Experience prepare you. Can't get experience until you become one, right? Same thing with boxing. It's you can have ideas, situations, or how you want it to work out and how it should be, but it don't always work out like that. All you need to know is down this road right here, at the end of this road, it's a championship belt. So I'm gonna walk this road right here until I reach that championship belt. And I'm gonna pick that championship belt up and I'm gonna take it for myself. That's basically what you need to do as a fighter. That's your short term goal. Since I done picked up this championship belt, I might as well go down that road and get the other one. And then get the other one and then get the other one. Because now I could be undisputed. That should be the goals of the fighters. And as I say, based on your performance and the hardware that you gain, or you achieve, is going to dictate how much you're going to get paid. And these promoters have y'all number. They have y'all number. So, but Tank wants the world to know that he's interested in a fight with all of them. And I understand kind of Demetrius why Tank put Ryan maybe on the list, or that person who wrote the article put Ryan on the list, only because Ryan had that little thing he did on hot boxing with Mike Tyson. Ryan be all around telling everybody was Santa Claus that he want to fight Tank and all this stuff. So Tank was like, okay, you got my attention. Let's do it. But he really don't want to fight him. What he want to do is use this black man's name to elevate his name, to get you to keep watching and seeing what he do. That's in the end of the day what it is. If somebody asks me, that some people be emailing me or sending comments, I guess in the DM, why you say it black, or why you bring it to color or race? Because they are. That's what it is. Who was being avoided the most? Black fighters. Tank. Some people avoiding him. Devin Haney for sure. The Charlos have had their fill of avoidance. You know, uh, who else? Um, some of the welterweights can say that they've been avoided. I think is jockeying for position more so in that division. You know, um, but we have a lot of black fighters who've been avoided. Deontay Wilder. You know, now let's talk about white fighters that's being avoided. Now let's talk about Asian fighters who's being avoided. There might be a couple. I don't know. I'm gonna say because I know it's a couple of them out there that some people don't want that smoke. Mm, but I can't think of their names. Now let's talk about some Mexican fighters that's being avoided. Hmm. So the only fighters that's being avoided are black fighters, and they're being avoided, hoping that they'll just give up and retire from the sport, or they're hoping that they'll age them out, or watching for their downfall, for something to happen to them. They could jump on them. That's what they're doing. I'm sure Earl Spence will have plenty of takers when he come back. I'm sure he will. But by the way, I hope he don't come back until maybe this time next year, or at least the end of the summer. I hope. I hope, because I know as soon as he get in, you already know what they're gonna try to do. I want him fully healed so he can flex on these motherfuckers. That's what I want. But he I know he gets avoided somewhat, but now that he had a detached retina, this is what I mean by, like, when you show some kind of weakness or you fell off or something, now you're not being avoided. And then the history books will be written like, during this span of time, there was it's not that they're gonna say there was no black fighters, but you're gonna see that there was no black fighters of note that was doing anything. And it's simply because of avoidance. But these promoters, some of these managers are cool with it as long as it reached the bottom line. But as I said earlier, the bottom line should be catered to the fighter, not the manager, not the promoter, not anything. So I'm just speaking on it a little bit because I found it interesting that you guys had the shows that I watch out there, they were talking about this. Cal reiterates this from the boxing section, and here Tank Davis is actually saying the words, "Hey, I would love to fight XYZ, but it's not up to me." I thought it was, Tank. Don't Mayweather promotion work for you or you work for them? Aren't you the fighter? Aren't you the one who got to get in the ring? Why wouldn't your opinion or what you want matters more? But it's always the bottom line of the manager and the promoter and the sanctioning bodies. It's the bottom line of everybody but the fighter. And like I said, Tank, you know, he's one fighter that let it slip. Darwin Price had his opinion on how he saw things, and it wasn't a favorable opinion that you would want to hear. Um, you don't want to hear that the fighters feel like they hoes, but this is how they're feeling, and it's not right. They shouldn't be feeling like that. Um, I just thought it was interesting that Tank, in a certain kind of way, he has confirmed what Kyle says, what Fred says, what Darwin said. But he said it in a nice way. He said it nice. Mm. So again, Ryan Garcia, for the record, should not be included as a four king. He has never won a belt. If you think about Devin Haney, Teofimo, and Tank, they have all been champions. They have all won. Tank is undefeated. Teo is undefeated. Devin is undefeated. Ryan is undefeated, but he's never won a championship ever. He doesn't deserve to be in the same class as them. They could have put somebody like Lomo, and I don't even like Loma Chica, but they could have. He was at least a champion. They could have put him in it. Um, what else? Let me see. So I just, like I said, that's interesting that is true, because a lot of times we as fans we thinking, hey, they got control. We put the blame on them when they get a fight or don't get a fight, or they have this or they have that. A lot of people just are not business inclined. They don't know how to do a business. Um, I know Fred always suggests that you guys have made enough money in y'all career, you could go start your own pay per view or do a pay per view on your own. And even if nothing but uh your own kind support you, you just made a killing because it's all coming to you. Um, a lot of people are not interested in that, and they probably because they don't feel they have a business sense that they could do that, and they maybe feel like they can't be successful at it. Not everybody can handle be a successful businessman, so I get that too. But it's something to think about going forward, because if you're the one doing the most work, you're the one blood, sweat, and tears is giving all that you have. You should be the one mostly reaping the benefits of whatever it is you're doing. So that has to change. That has to change. I'm not sure what all has to be done. TB asks a great question. Do you think that boxers should get a union? And I'm in agreement. They should. They should. All the other sporting entities have unions, and they should, because there should be some minimums across the board about anything, especially when it comes to pay. There should be some minimums, because a boxer who gets paid $7,500 versus a boxer who get paid $40 million to get in the ring, what's the difference? What's the difference? Death is on the menu. Still, you can get seriously hurt and injured. You can get so hurt that you're like a paraplegic or something, or you need help for the rest of your life because you can't function normally. The danger for you is still the same. What's the difference other than the pay? But once Uncle Sam get his cut, the promoter get that cut, the manager get that cut, your trainers get that cut. 7,500 is what now? But they took the same risk as the person, and I'm using Canelo as an example. He's about to get paid 40 million. They took the same risk as he did. So if something happened to Canelo, once he paid the managers, sanction bodies, his trainers, and everybody else, he's still a millionaire. He's still in the millions. If something happened in the ring where he need extra care or something, acute care or anything, he got the money. He ain't worried about it. If he wants to take off for the rest of the year or don't fight for 2 years because it was just that bad of an ass whooping, he ain't got to work another day in his life. That's the difference between somebody who makes 40 million and somebody who makes 7,500. And again, it's all dictated by who? The people you work for. So if everybody's working for somebody, when you saying you the boss, you're not really the boss. Okay. But if you making that kind of money where it doesn't really matter, then I guess it doesn't really matter. But now we starting to open our eyes. We starting to see, and that's what these shows should be about, is informing people and persuading them that we can do it better. Y'all can do it differently. Y'all just gotta band together and pick, just stick to the course, stay to the course. You're not trying to cause waves, but y'all have to be protected. And y'all must unify. But it's hard to, because when people are on, they don't give a fuck about the people that's not. That's the barrier they gotta get over. Demetrius said a union would be great. However, boxing needs to be commissioned federally now. That would help alleviate the unfairness, racism, injustice in boxing. I totally agree. PGH Big Dog in the building was popping king. He said, salute boxing fans, Talks TV. Salute to you. I totally agree. It can be regulated. But see, we living in times where chaos and anarchy reign supreme. The pendulum is swinging. It will swing back the other way. This is historically, it happens all the time. The pendulum goes back and forth. And right now we're in an anarchist state because we have people who want to protest every goddamn thing. Every goddamn thing. As if protests gonna get it done. It's not always gonna get it done. You have to have action behind that protest. Effective action. Not just I gotta be seen and I'm mad and I'm telling you I'm mad. Motherfuckers who do shit to people don't care that you mad at them. They already factor in the fact that you gonna be mad at them. So yeah, so get a union. Get a union. Have a medical. Y'all have enough boxers to seriously have cheap medical because y'all have a big ass pool. And so when you're not getting the fights and you're not making the most money, you can at least have medical. They could do it they could get commissioned federally, or I think are you talking about like every state has to adhere to some basic rules and guidelines, and they can't make it different from another state. It has to be no overlap, no no difference, no daylight in between state to state when it comes to boxing rules. Then I'm with you on that. But as far as a union, you don't need to federalize that. PGA's Big Dog said Tank beats everyone at 135. Too much power. Devin would be tough because of his D. Um, yeah, I agree with you, PGH. I do think that Tank could beat Devin. I just do, because Tank can box, and so can Devin. Now, when it comes to boxing, Devin is more superior, I think. But all that superior boxing, and Tank knows how to box, it will not stop Tank from touching him. And that's all that has to happen is for him to get touched. So yeah, but the whole 135 division is, they kind of like they looking suspect as far as being something real to contemplate whether they should be considered high and considered to, to get the lion's share of the pay and all that, because they don't fight each other. It's all of their fault. They don't fight each other. And they let little stuff go down without really saying anything. Like you let Shaducks like Brian Garcia do what he do, and y'all don't. I mean, other than Twitter, y'all don't really bust a grape to let it be known that these people are fugazi. They're doing a whole lot of suspect shit, even with the sanctioning bodies, and you guys are not caring. Like I feel Shakur Stevens when he said he want to fight Oscar Valdez. I feel him. That's what he want to do. I feel him. But a part of me feels that Shakur should want to feel more that Oscar Valdez get held accountable. I wouldn't like, just me, if I was a boxer and Valdez was in my division, and I know he would be a stepping stone, or the fact that he got a belt, I need to come get it. Me personally, I would not call him out. I wouldn't even want to fight him, because as far as I'm concerned, he need to be sidelined. He need to be sidelined, and that's how I would treat him, like somebody who need to be sidelined. I wouldn't even want to fight with him. But if a fight came my way, you know, Demetri said, Miss T, I'm speaking about federally commissioning boxing overall, not relating to the union. Okay, you gotta tell us kind of like what that look like. What you mean by that? Like I said, do you mean that there's the rules? Because we know that each state has a commission. We know that. But from state to state, the commission has different rules. But so if you federalize it, that means every state got to have the same rules, right? He said, "What is your opinion about Floyd being ostracized by the LGBTQ community for not taking a pic with the dude with black fingernail polish?" I'm not mad at Floyd. I'm not mad at Floyd at all. Floyd gonna do. Listen, sometimes I think that Floyd, with rich people in general, money means never having to say you sorry. I don't think this is what I mean by everybody. This is an anarchist spirit, chaotic spirit in the country today. Everybody, anarchists love chaos. They don't have a final solution for shit. They love chaos. And that's what that spirit is all over the country. And I'm waiting for it to blow the fuck off over the Atlantic or blow the fuck off over the Pacific. I'm so sick of living in that kind of atmosphere where everybody is very touchy about every fucking thing, like to the like way overboard. Okay, I wouldn't have took if I'm famous and he rolled up on me and wanted to take a picture. You know why I wouldn't take a picture with him with his fingernails painted? Because 9 times out of 10, his fingernail painted is painted black. Now they didn't talk about the color of when I saw the little clip. They didn't talk about the color of this dude's fingernails, but it was painted. I'm assuming that's me assuming that it's black because most time if a man got his fingernails painted, most time it's black. You know why I'm not gonna do it? Because I associate that with gothic shit, and you gotta get the hell away from me with that part. You know what I'm saying? So I would be saying that it has nothing to do with I don't like gay people. And for the record, Floyd supports gay people bigger than most people do. I can think of a lot of fighters who will ostracize gay people before Floyd would. His hairdresser, for one, is a female, and she's gay. Make no bones about it, she's gay. And she has always been in his circle for years. She does his beard, she cut his hair when he used to wear the baldy. I know her cousin. I know her cousin. And Floyd supports this woman in any endeavors that she has outside of him. Then you got I know everybody know about that radio station Jason Whitlock be on. He's gay as hell. He'll tell you. He's straight up gay. And Floyd owns I guess the radio station or whatever he does. I ain't gonna say radio station, but everything digital now. However, he used his platform. Floyd owns some of that, but Floyd supports him big time. Gave him big time interviews. He didn't have to. So Floyd is not a gay hater. He's not. He's not anti-gay at all. That's being said. Devin Haney was seen on the beach with black toe polish on his feet. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. I'm assuming because I don't picture him as a gothic person or gay, but I'm assuming that Devin Haney probably have toe jam. Like he probably have different color toenails. And y'all, for the record, a lot of people in America suffer from that. Y'all know what that is? Y'all take a guess. Shout it out in the chat. Remember, you guys can call in and speak on it and say what you feel. I'm gonna put the link in the chat, just so y'all can get in. What do y'all think? When people have discolored toenails, what is that? And I mean, people discolored toenails can be black, they can be brown. Most of the time, it's brown, like rust color brown. Stuff like that. What y'all think it is? You said ugly toes or ugly feet. Now, where y'all think that is? Where you think it come from? What's the problem? Because there's definitely a problem. You wasn't born with black toenails, or you wasn't born with brown toenails. Why y'all think that is? It's a real simple answer, y'all. He said ugly toes or ugly feet. Y'all give it. I was waiting for somebody to say it. Somebody want to call in. Red, you want to tell me what that is? All right, I'll tell y'all. It's eczema. I was a grown woman before I knew what that was. I don't have brown toenails, but all that stuff, or toe jam or whatever the fuck. I don't have it. I have eczema severely, but I don't have that. The most common form of eczema is in your toenails or your fingernails. Most common form that any of us. So you got all these people around the world that have this problem. And you be like, now, of course, you slam your foot in the door, you can get the black toenail, the dried up blood. That's what it is. There could be reasons why your toenails change color, could get infected or whatever. But I'm talking about people who don't have an infection, did not slam their toe in the door, but yet they got black toenails, or brown toenails, or even in their fingers. It's a form of eczema. It's the most common form. And most people who have this problem don't even have skin problems. Not that they notice, but it's in their toes and toenails. It's a fungus. That's what eczema is too. It's a fungus. PGH big dog. I got eczema bad, but my toes ain't black. I got it bad too. When y'all see me, look, y'all see me like scratching my head. Y'all see all these marks? Whole body. I have it bad, but I don't have no discolored toenails or or fingernails or anything. That it didn't hit me that way. But most people, that is how I hit them. Then I be thinking, which one would I rather have? Be actually thinking that. I don't like it because it's not the optics of it all is not cute. It kind of look disgusting sometimes. I ain't gonna front, but sometimes I ask myself, oh, would I rather have that than have what I get on my body? Sometimes I gotta ask myself. You know what I'm saying? But that's what that is. In case y'all never knew what that was. So if Devin Haney had black shoe polish, I mean not shoe polish, black fingernail polish on his toenails, I'm assuming he's trying to hide something. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. I don't know. But usually people who paint their fingernails and toenails black and shit like that, they with that gothic shit. I'm not with it. I'm not with it. So if I'm Floyd Mayweather, the almighty Floyd Mayweather, with his brand and all this money he got and this, that, and the other, I'm not getting in a picture with somebody who may or may not dabble in gothic shit. Now people can say, "Oh, well, he's still wrong for that." How? How is he wrong for that? You know, that's his choice. I don't see that as being wrong. I don't want to affiliate with it, so I don't fuck with it. I don't even. When I see people like that, I don't discriminate against them. I will not give a job to somebody like, I'm not that type of person. I don't do discrimination. But you're not gonna be in my circle when you're doing certain things or when you about certain things. Like I don't hang with criminals. Nothing against no criminals. I just don't hang with them because in that we don't have anything in common. What we gonna talk about? So I mean, like that's what I'm saying. Like just logically speaking, I don't blame Floyd for feeling like he don't want to be in the picture with somebody who painted his nail. He don't know what the fuck that means. That could be meaning some other shit too. They could be into some devil worship shit. You just don't know. He erred on the side of caution. But that guy is gonna say, "Oh, because I'm gay," and he gonna look stupid. Because Floyd promotes and advocates for gays more than a lot of them. Most men, especially in that field, would be like, "Oh, y'all get your gay ass away from me," and blah 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 blah. I don't fuck with y'all like that. They don't even want you around. Floyd employs them and pays them well and sets them up. You can't even go there with him with the LGBT. And sometimes people just walk into the trap. But you know how Floyd said, all news is good news to him. Whether it's bad or not, it's news. They talking about you. You're trending. Demetrius said, I don't know about that, Miss T. A lot of young cats be wearing fingernail, toenail polish, talking about males, not women. I don't know what it means either. A lot of things now means something different than what it was when we were young. I just stay in my lane. I stay in my generation, and I hope people when they considering whatever it is I say and do that you associated with my generation. Try to stay in the know and everything, but some things is just not in my generation. And so, like I've had friends be mad and say, I've been calling you all day. Where you been? I'm like, wait a minute now. I don't work for you. I've been calling you all day. I set my phone down. What you gonna ask me why I set my phone down? I didn't get a cell phone till I was 30. What you think I used up until that day? For 30 years, I had a landline. You call my landline, I was there or not. I didn't. You didn't sit on the phone all day, every day. But some people probably did, but I didn't. When I left the house, I had an answering machine. It picked up. When I came home, I hit the button and listened to whoever called me. I called people back or didn't. But I ain't live my life waiting on by the phone or just be on the phone. But now look at us today. So I'm a product of my generation. I could set a cell phone down all day and go do other shit and won't even think about it. Whereas somebody who's 16 or 15, it probably wouldn't enter their mind to do some shit like that. Floyd is of his generation. I don't know what he was thinking, but he do have a right to decline or accept, pictures. Every time I get over this side, I think it's that window. But he has the power within himself to decline pictures if you want to. It's his body. He don't have to fuck with you if he don't want to. But I'm sorry. I'm smelling something like grass cut or something. Um, the LGBTQ community would be stupid to press this issue. If they listening to me, I would say let it go. It don't have nothing to do with gays. Because you will never prove to me or most people who know Floyd or even the gay people that he helps that he has a problem with gays. So the little guy who that happened to don't make it about your community, make it about you. There was something about you that Floyd rejected. And I understand it could hurt, but he said you had painted nails. I do the same thing. I see little guys with black painted nails. I be like, get away from me. It has nothing to do with their sexual orientation because I don't know nothing about that. Everything to do with what I assume to be some kind of gothic thing and or demonic type shit. I don't know. I don't want to be around none of that. So when I see people like that, I just be like, I keep it moving. I don't judge them. I don't treat them wrong. I don't talk about them. I just make a mental note. Hmm. And I keep it moving. Uh, let's talk about Boots Ennis versus Delorme. Y'all know that fight is coming up this weekend, October 30th. It's gonna be at Mandalay Bay, Las Vegas. Darwin Price, he was on Fred's show last night. He's gonna be fighting this weekend as well at Mandalay Bay. We don't have the information yet as to how we will be able to see his fight, but because he's not the main or the co-main or the other, you know, other fights that they decided to put on TV. We hope that they change their mind and put it on TV in some kind of way, or at least stream it. Somebody, but I know the boxing gods, they gonna hear our pain. Somebody's gonna tape it and then post it on YouTube for the rest of us to see it. And I absolutely want to see that young man fight Darwin Price. So I'm looking forward to that. If not, if I don't get to see it, we could definitely report about it. Did he win or what? He'll be on somebody's show to talk about how it went for him. But um, shout outs to that young man. Hopefully he do well. Well, he said he know he gonna do well, so I take it like that. Uh Ennis and Delorme. So everybody feels that Delorme is kind of washed up, and that may be true. That may not be true. Delorme was a hot prospect or contender at one point. He took his first L with Terrence Crawford. That's when he took his first L. Boots have come out recently, as I've reported before, and said that 15 people turned him down for fights. Now y'all know what Boots pretty much stand in the welterweight division. So basically, everybody who's standing in a position above him probably can be counted as the 15 people that turned him down. And y'all know I like Keith Thurman. I love Bud. That's my guy. And I like Earl. But see, I see them as the top three. I see them. I know Keith Thurman that fell off everybody's page, and a lot of people don't like him. He lost one fight, one to Pacquiao of all people. You know what I'm saying? And arguably, if he didn't fall, if he didn't get that flash knockdown, you don't know which way that fight could have been. It could have been a draw. So what I'm basically saying is, do we think that Terrence Crawford, Earl Spence, and Keith Thurman was among the few, not to mention Danny Garcia, or even let me throw in Virgil Ortiz or Jamal James? Were any of those guys asked or approached about Bruce Ennis trying to get a fight? That's I would love to know the definitive answer to that, but I doubt if somebody gonna put that information out. You have to assume that those guys at least would have been asked. He said 15 fighters, so it had to be them. Do they have their reasons for turning him down? I'm sure they do. Am I gonna call it ducking, or you just throw some kind of negative connotation with it? I don't know. He just saying he asked and he was turned down. Boost is being stalled out. He's being stalled. And it's unfortunate because a lot of people scared to fight him. I would tell you, he looks like a complete fighter. All those fighters that I named, Boost could give him hell. I would not look at him meeting up with Earl, Terrence, or Keith Thurman, or Danny Garcia, and saying, or Sean Porter, and saying, oh, those guys got it locked up. They're going to beat Boots. No, I actually be like 50-50. Some of them I'm going to be like, Boots got that. Y'all be surprised. I almost want to say between him and Terrence, and y'all know how I feel about Terrence. Between him and Terrence, I would actually say 50-50. You know why? Because right now in the welterweight division, Terrence and Boots Ennis, Terrence Crawford and Boots Ennis are the two fighters that I would call complete fighters. I cannot honestly say that about anybody else. I cannot say that. And if they're complete fighters, then if they were to meet up in the ring, I think that it would be a 50-50 fight. Demetrius said Robert Garcia said Virgil Ortiz Jr. needs 4 years. That's some straight bullshit right there. Porter said he wouldn't ever fight Boots. He would never. Yeah, I heard about that. Bullshit. That's just straight bullshit. But Porter can beat Terrence. Are you crazy? Are y'all crazy? Porter ain't got a chance. If he can't beat Boots, he damn sure can't beat no Terrence Crawford. I can tell y'all that right now. He said Thurman didn't know who Boots is. That's what Thurman say. I don't know if that's true. How can you not know who Boots is? He might not be that familiar because when you guys kept talking about Jamal James, I was like, who is that? The whole time I know who this dude is. I seen him fight several times. And I always say to myself, why isn't he at the top with the other guys? This motherfucker win, win, win. And he be housing motherfuckers. And then I hear about this Jamal James, but I never put a face to the name. And the whole time I'm asking the question on the sideline, like, hold up. Hello? What's going on? Uh, so yeah, my dogs. Make sure they don't knock nothing down. But the whole time I'm like, who the hell is Jamal James? But I know who this guy is because I watched him fight. Go lay down. Go lay down. Um, sorry, and I watched him fight before, and I'm like, oh, so y'all know he got a fight coming up too. Demetrius said Spence told Boots he needs to earn his stripes. Now, Demetrius, isn't that what Spence said that Keith Thurman did to him? Isn't that the same thing? Just ask him. Just asking. Mitch said Boots doesn't have anything to offer Bud, Ugas, James, or Spence, the champions. They are on a mission to unify. And you know what? I can get with that. I could totally get with that. But why is Keith Thurman crucified for just the same thing? That's the question that I got. He having the same energy, they having the same energy that Keith had. Why is Keith crucified? I would love to know the answer to that. That basically low risk, low reward. Is a higher risk, you mean, and a low reward though? It is, but the champions are on a different mission. Yes, when Keith was doing that to Earl, he was a champion on a different mission. Same thing you just said. But Keith was the bad guy. He did wrong. Spence plans on fighting Boots at 154. So they say. We won't know until it happens. High risk, low reward. We won't know because life, you don't know from day to day whether you're gonna be. I mean, real talk. Things shit happens. You know, they may meet up, they may not meet up. Strike while the metal is hot, right? But that's the whole point. Like we gotta keep the same energy, and we gotta look beyond what they're showing us. Look past the smoke and mirrors and everything. Like today I talked a lot about, who's really in control. Bruce Ennis doesn't have a promoter neither. He doesn't have a promoter. But he tries to make fights the best he can. And everybody act like it's all complicated. It's not complicated. They see now the difference with Boots and Terrence is Boots is a bigger guy. You can see Boots and see that he probably gonna wash out around like the 154, 160. You can see that. I can see him getting into 154, 160. I can see it in his stature. You don't readily off the top think that about Terrence Crawford. He's naturally he looks like a small guy, which Terrence has gotten bigger. I mean, he is a true welterweight now. But coming from 135 to 140, you can see 147, you can see maybe even 154. Anything higher than that, I'm not seeing it. Not with Bud, I'm not seeing it. With Boots, he's just a young man. He's still young. So I see at 160, I can see the 160 or whatever. Everybody hit the likes and subscribe while you're in here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Spence said he only has 2 fights at 147 because he needs to move up. Who, Boots? I thought he had more than that. Boots been fighting at 147 the whole time. Boots can right now fight at 168. I don't know. But he has that stature, if that's what you're saying. He has a stature that tells you this man can weigh as much as that. You know, um, you could tell that when he's walking around, he weighs way more than 147. He just fights at 147 now, which tells you he can't be there forever. But they don't want to fight him because he's a high risk with low reward. He is not a champion. He's not a pay-per-view draw yet. So if you fight him and lose, you lose your positioning, your standing, your ability to demand more money. You lose a lot. So he's a high risk, low reward. I get it. I get it. But so was Errol when he was young in the game, like Boots. When Keith Thurman was the man demanding better paychecks above all of them. But we crucified Keith for that. I don't think it was fair. You said Boots is built like her. He sure is. I met her this weekend too. I met Terrence. I met most of the fighters that was on the card. So that was a good weekend. That was a good weekend for me, especially meeting Terrence Crawford. That's my second time meeting him. Um, he's a perfect gentleman. Uh, a family man. Congratulations to Terrence Crawford becoming a father again. I know he just had a baby girl. Sure, she's beautiful. Um, but yeah, that was the highlight of my weekend. I was like I didn't even think I was gonna run across him, but I saw him. I was like, oh, my knees got weak. Like, oh hell, in a innocent kind of way. But I actually said it out loud, so the guy in front of me was like, tell him she want a picture. But I didn't mean it in any other way, but like, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. You know what I'm saying? And I met Jerry Hurd. He was a gentleman too. So they were both pleasant gentlemen. Um, but yeah, people avoiding Boots. What else I was saying about that? He got a fight October 30th at the Mandalay Bay, Las Vegas. Ennis is like I said, he's a complete fighter, very hard time getting the fight. He always do. Um, I don't know how we supposed to start reporting on some of that. Like, are we supposed to like how do we report this now? Do we say something like, what white fighters are scared of Boots Ennis? Matter of fact, as far as I'm concerned, all the potential Mexican fighters are scared of Boots Ennis. And I dare you to challenge me and show me differently. He can't get no Mexicans to fight him or get in the ring with him. He can't even get black fighters. So, but the Mexicans supposed to be the face of boxing. So I'm calling on y'all. Why y'all scared of getting in the ring with Boots Ennis? Let us know. What are you scared of? Getting weak in the knees. Whoa, yeah, I did say that. I didn't mean to. It just came out my mouth. Like, what the hell? I even said that to myself. Like, what the hell? But when the guy heard me, I said, "Oh shit, I didn't mean for you to hear it. Wasn't It was all plutonic. It was just my favorite fighter of all time. Like right now, I don't have many. Floyd was it when he was active. Deontay is the king, and the prince is Terrence Crawford. But he's a king in his own right. So when I seen him, I was like, I believe Stanionis should fight Boots before being mandated to fight Ugas. Once Stanionis get the belt, he either gonna hoard it, hide it, or come up with reasons why he can't fight this person or that person. Because what they want to do is have a record of them defending the belt. See, that's the problem. When you jealous and when you trying to be better than other people, you want to have their kind of record. Hey, I defended my belt 10 times. No, you didn't. They don't like that's what they don't like about Deontay. You say what you want. Tyson Fury defended his belts once. Once. And that is with Deontay. That's a belt. He never defended all the belts that he had got. Never. Deontay got a belt because that's the only belt he could get because of avoidance. And Deontay defended that belt 10 times. So how many heavyweights can say that? You know what I'm saying? And Mexicans, fighters will love to be able to say that. I don't have a problem with Chris Arreola and some of the heavyweight Mexican fighters. Andy Ruiz, you got the wrong team with you. You probably sipping that tea. So I'm gonna have a problem with you. As Floyd said, I has a problem with you. You know, I'm going to have a problem with you. Um, but before that, I didn't have a problem with you. Um, but it's not them that avoids Deontay Wilder. Our own kind was just so he don't advance, just so we can make sure you never say one face, one champion with all the belts. That's hating. That's all that hate. But as far as other fighters and everything, why y'all scared to fight Boots? There's no 147-pounder Mexican that's ready to get it in. Y'all calling out Terrence. Y'all think it's gonna be easier? Terrence and Boots are the two complete fighters in the welterweight division. But you calling out Terrence, Virgil. You was more than happy to fight Terrence. Fight Boots. At least Lipinets got up in there with him. Chris Van Herden got up in there with him. Y'all scared to fight him. What's the holdup? Only four other fighters can say that. What is the holdup? Where's the Mexican, the face of boxing? Where you at? If Boots was fighting at 160 or 168, I guarantee you Canelo Alvarez would not want no parts of him. I guarantee you that. Even Mikey knows better to mess with Boots. Yeah, Mikey, don't you see something? You don't see nothing? What is the big deal with avoiding Boots? Now, Terrence and Porter, you gave your own self up by saying that dumb shit. But Terrence and Porter are preoccupied. I understand the turn down of that. But we talking about recently this happened. Earl Spence has an injury that he's gonna be out for a minute. I understand the turn down of that. Everybody else don't get no motherfucking pass. Even though I like you, Keith Thurman, you don't get a pass. This man asks, y'all saying no. The only people with the belts is Terrence and Errol, and now Ugas. But they done tied Ugas' hands, so he can't even if Boots wanted to fight him, that can't even go down because they done tied his hand. Because they, again, is always their bottom line, their agenda. It's never the fighter's bottom line or the fighter's agenda. And that part has to change. That's the shit that got to change. So, Boots, you being avoided and time is flying past. Time waits for no one. You gotta stop that in your tracks. As I say, Boots is a more complete fighter. Nobody really wants to fight him. I don't hear no or see any Mexicans jumping for the chance trying to fight Boots. So I'm asking why. I know why, because he'll demolish them. None of y'all ain't got no competition for him. I would love to see Virgil Ortiz. Let's answer that question. But see, if you do that, then who is Oscar gonna have in his stable? So the bottom line is not the fighters, it's the promoter. Because Oscar don't want to have. He wants a fighter with no loss. He wants a fighter to hold. They get a belt. All these promoters, they want to keep them with the belt, unless that fighter wants to leave that promoter. Then they don't give a fuck what happened to him. But if it's about the best fighting the best, Virgil Ortiz, can you please reach out? If you got that kind of clout, can you please reach out to Boots Ennis and y'all two hook up a fight? Or should I ask Oscar? Oscar is going to be at the Caleb Plant Canelo Alvarez fight. All of y'all social media platforms, please ask that question. Please ask that question. I know Oscar got a lot. It's a wonder he's even gonna be out because he's vulnerable at this state. He's trying to get over his addictions and shit, but he's gonna be at that fight. So if y'all stick a mic in his face, ask him why Virgil Ortiz can't fight Boots Ennis. What's the holdup? Virgil supposed to be all that. What's the holdup? Thurman said he's looking for big money fights or belts. Thurman might be on that Mikey Garcia train. But they've been stalling Thurman out for years now. I'm not saying Thurman is a victim and he don't have a part to play in none of this, but I just never understood the vitriol for him. I just never understood it. And when you know why they feel the way they feel about him, and then you see them same people do the same thing to others, it's just baffling to me. Those fighters overseas, like Russia, Argentina, or some other Eastern European countries, will fight Boots. Maybe so. Hey, Boots, what about what's that dude name? He fight for Eddie Hearn. I done forgot his name that quick. He just fought Adrian Granados. Oh man, I can't think of this dude name. Young black kid from Europe, UK. But he signed with his own, or he signed with Matchroom. Talking about he want the top welterweights. Well, I don't know how you gonna do that. Signing with his own. Again, I'm not counting your pockets, young fella. I ain't gonna count your pockets. You're a grown ass man. That's for you to do. But I will say, if you gonna sign with Matchroom and think you're gonna get the top echelon fighters, I think that's gonna be nearly impossible. Connor Ben. There you go, Demetrius. Connor Ben. Connor Ben and Boots. Don't y'all think that's an interesting fight? Hey, what you mean by the rumor? The rumor is that Thurman passed off Al Heyman. What you mean by that? Connor Ben and Boots Ennis is an interesting fight. What y'all think? Connor Ben wants a top welterweight. Well, hey, start there. You know what I'm saying? Start there. And y'all can't bring Virgil Ortiz out every time y'all match make him perfectly to knock somebody out. He got 3 bags of tricks. I mean, bags. He got 3 tricks in his bag. He squares up, number one. He doesn't position himself right. He can't fight going backwards. He offensive. What he got on his side is he got heart like a motherfucker. He relentless and he's young. That's it. That is it when it comes to Virgil Ortiz. Eddie Hearn won't let that happen. I don't know why. Boost got an O. Connor got an O. They scared to let their O go. They ain't like gotta be like Keith Thurman. I ain't scared to lose my O. He said Thurman pissed off Al Heyman per rumors. He could have, but it's only confirming what Kyle and Fred be saying. These people run their lives. They run everything. We thinking that these fighters have some kind of autonomy, but they don't. You know. Um, Let me just move on real quick, just so y'all know. October 30th, also Jamal James versus Butev, the welterweight championship fight. I think they got like I forgot what kind of belt they got. It's a good fight. It's gonna be a good fight because Jamal James is a good fighter, and he don't get the credit he deserves. To be honest, the dude put in work, and he's amazing because if you ever watch his fights, you don't be thinking this dude can win, but he puts it in. Both of them are unbeaten fighters. That's going down at 10 p.m. Then you got Quigley versus Andrade. Andrade finally has Boo Boo Andrade finally has a fight. It's gonna be on Friday, November 19th on the Zone. And Quigley, I've seen him fight once or twice. he feels that he can get the belt off up off of Andre. So that should be that might be interesting. I don't know. Like I'm not telling y'all to go buy no damn, the zone and nothing just to get this fight. But that might be an actual good fight. Now Anthony Durrell is coming back. I remember seeing a clip with him saying he is coming back. He faces a guy named Marcos Hernandez on the. They're gonna be on the Plant card actually. So Anthony Durrell is a good fighter. He's entertaining. So at least we know one good fighter be on there. That's November 2001. I don't know what y'all think of Durrell, but I don't know if he's at the end of his career or he's still coasting in the middle. Now James Toney versus Jeremy Williams. Somebody brought that up in the chat. That's gonna be October 29th, and it's an 8 round exhibition. I hope we don't have a debacle like Holyfield. I just hope that don't happen. James Toney is a notable Hall of Famer. I guess I think he already in the Hall of Fame. I don't know. But he's one of the greats, and I don't want to see him, diminish his record or whatever. But if it's in their heart, it's in their heart. So I just say good luck to those guys. Hopefully, don't nothing happen, in a bad way. Uh, you said he didn't let Joshua fight Wilder years ago. You talking about Eddie Hearn? Yep, because he's a master. Thurman did that shit to himself, ducking and not fighting for years. He washed anyway. Thurman's not washed. That's still my guy too. He got one loss on his resume, and so he cannot be washed in my eyes. He had injuries. That's what he said. Here's a man who fought incredible, who was the man at the welterweight division. You know, Floyd had to turn that over to him when Floyd left. Thurman was the man. Uh, he attended or addressed his issues medically. He wasn't looking back. Um, and yeah, I can see though why y'all feel the way y'all feel. So I'm not objectionable in that respect. I just have a different perspective. I think that what he did is the same thing that Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence and all of them are doing right now. They're doing that right now and have been doing. So for me, it's impossible. It's highly impossible for me to get upset about Keith Thurman's moves back in the day when I see everybody else does it too. It's the norm. I ain't talking about cheating. We're not talking about what they do in the ring. I would never say that about, actual cheating or it's the norm that you get hit in it with the elbow in the ring. I would never say that. It's dirty tactics. It is the norm though. But I would never say, oh, we should just accept it. I'm gonna say that it happens a lot. And maybe the refs should call it or catch it more. But when it comes to his tactics of setting the goal for himself and going forward with that goal, somebody got to show me how Earl didn't do it or Terrence Crawford ain't do it. And then I could be like, oh, okay. PGH Big Dog said he held up the WW division for years. Very overrated. Lawson over the hill Manny. I think he got shocked with a knockdown. Per Blue Blood Floyd versus Manny in December for a celebrity basketball game. I was gonna say they better not be fighting. They better not be fighting. As much as Floyd get on my nerves, Floyd, don't you dare get in the ring with nobody who was a professional fighter or who is a professional fighter. Boots is available, but he won't fight Boots. Hmm? Boots is available, but he won't fight. Oh, you talking about Thurman? That's what I said. I didn't leave him out neither. I said Boots said 15 people turned him down. The two I gave a pass or three that I gave a pass to was Errol. He's out with an eye injury. But if Earl did this before the eye injury, because Boots been calling out Earl and Terrence and all of them for years now. He has. I remember when he first started doing it, they was like, "Slow down, Kimasami. Slow down, young Thundercat. And just wait a little bit." And I looked at it and I was like, "You're right. This boy is still young. Don't go up there with them lions yet. You still growing in your mane." So I totally agree with that. But then he just kept doing it, and they've been ignoring him. So um, why, if we not supposed to accept that, or that's not supposed to be done, then that means nobody do it. If we can hate Keith Thurman for that very reason, then the people who complained about it should not turn around and do it. But I didn't say just Errol did it. I'm saying Keith did it. I mean, uh, Bud doing it. A lot of them are doing it. Why? Because they're focused. They're focused on the goal that's in front of them. They're not going to look backwards or to the side. And that's what Keith was doing. Now, it didn't look good on his part. He did come off seeming like he was ducking and he was scared. You know, he was this ferocious beast in the damn ring. And then all of a sudden Earl come on the scene, and it do look like that, Keith. It do look like he was scared. But it might have just been my eyes is focused. I've been trying to get here for years, and I don't care what you're doing over there, son. That it could have been just that. PGA said, "I'm glad that Ponytail don't have a fight. Spencer Bud would have been up undisputed if Thurman was faking injuries. Wasn't faking injuries. See, I don't see it that way, PGH. But I feel you. ESG and Bud told Boots to settle down, young whippersnapper. Most definitely. Slow down, Kimosami. Slow your horses, you know. But that was years ago. And that made sense years ago. Don't make sense now. Boots is on their level, all of them. And to turn him down is ducking, correct? Correct? Or you scared, or everything we said about Keith, we got to start saying that about them, because that's what they doing. We know, by real boxing fans know, that Errol and Bud is trying to achieve undisputed. We know that. We know. You know, Boost is trying to disrupt that. But if you all about your business, you don't worry about this noise behind you or to the side of you. You can't worry about that shit. Keep your eyes focused. Keep your eyes on the prize. Boost is not a pathway to a belt. So of course they gotta, uh, stiff arm them and set them down on the side. But that's what Keith was doing. That's all I was saying. But somehow he committed the crime of the century. You said 147 when ESJ moves up. Oh, women, you said now they on a different agenda. Boost will run. You think Boost will run from them? Oh, when they go up. That's what you meant. I don't know. I say, keep the same energy, y'all. That's all I'm saying. I like Keith. I'm always like Keith. Actually hear what he was saying. I do believe that his heart changed. Life happened to him. It's not bad or good. It's just it happens. You know, life happens to everybody, and you could do a whole 180 or something that's totally opposite of what you was about and what you were doing. So, mm, you know, I wish Keith Thurman the best of luck. I do say to all of you, I see why y'all. I'm seeing what your reasonings are. I'm just probably a little bit more optimistic or giving him the benefit of the doubt because I just see it a little different. And the main reason why I see it a little different when it comes to Keith Thurman, because I turn around and see others do the same thing, but they're cool, but he's not, and I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't persecute somebody or be mad at somebody for something that everybody's doing. I just can't do it. You said one time, new wife, new baby, new family plans, and focus has changed. Probably has. Is he scared of ESJ? I think maybe. I could, I totally get it, PGH. I could totally get that because that's what it looks like. He explained it really well. I want to say with Fight Hype, and this is why I be trying to get an interview with Keith Thurman because I want him to come on here and explain it really well with no pressure. You ain't got to rush. The floor is yours. You take your time. Just break it down, his mentality or what he was thinking or what he was trying to do. And if people still dislike him after that, that's cool too. I mean, I'm not perfect. I don't have a heaven and hell to put nobody in. I value everybody's opinion. I'm just saying, for me, I look at it differently. The man was beat by one person, and of all people, that's Pacquiao. It's like saying if Floyd had beat him. He wasn't beat by no other welterweights other than Pacquiao. One fight, one loss that he got, and he was the man. Make no mistakes. But anywho, I have left the phone lines open if anybody wanted to call. Y'all know I ain't gonna wait for y'all. Y'all know that. Y'all knows I ain't gonna wait for y'all. I got too much goings ons. But thank y'all for tuning in. I thought it was important to talk about what Fred and Cal be saying to reiterate what they were saying about who really is in charge. I didn't post the video, the thumbnail like that. I was talking about because that article I read about Tank, that's what made me say, damn, you know, just a few words can make you be like, have an epiphany. And I was like, wow, he confirming it. He said, I will love to fight these guys, but it's not up to me. It's his career though. He the one who got to get in the ring. It's his career. But he said, it's not up to me. It's up to Mayweather Promotion. So then, we asked that question. Do the promoters work for you? Do the managers work for you as the fighter? Or do you work for them? And why is it always about their bottom line and not yours as the fighter? When you know better, you'll do better. Demetrius said he will fight ESJ now. I think Errol X on will be mandated by the sanctioning body or allow him to fight Thurman. I think that's what they're trying to do. Because that's gonna make money for them. Keith Thurman brings in money. Make no mistakes. He ain't Sean Porter. He brings in money. He says Spence will be forced to fight Thurman by Al Hammond or a sanctioning body before he fight Bud. Probably. That's why I say, is it the fighter's bottom line? Or is it the promoters and the managers' bottom line? They ain't putting in none of the road work. They ain't doing none of that shit. But it's always their bottom line. Proven what Fred and Kyle have said. Just in that one article, boom. I'm already starting to look differently at how shit goes. I don't even want to talk about like as much when the fighters get on here and say, "Oh, you know, I'm my own boss." I want to hear that shit. Apparently not. You know. Oh, it's up to me. Every time y'all hear that, y'all just be like, "No, fighters are owned. No one entity is better than the other one. They all going through the same BS. Shit got to get better." And Demetrius maybe federalizing some kind of commission, that might be the way. But people got to show what that look like. They got to give examples. And one way you got to petition your congressperson. You have to call them. When that whole thing went down with Valpaz, I was calling my congressman all the time because I said, "Hey, wait a minute now. Y'all gave him a nonprofit organization. He ain't even American, and he's violating. What y'all gonna do about it?" I called every day for like 2 weeks, and what the motherfucker started doing. I'm not saying what I did made him backpedal, but he definitely started trying to clean up his act a little bit. Ain't good enough for us. You know what I'm saying? And I did see where they talking about taking the fight that he was the questionable fight, or the fight where he shouldn't have fought, taking that fight and making it like a no contest. And I guess they're trying to say, see, we are punishing them. No, you're not, because he got the fight. He got his check, didn't he? Fuck you talking about? We ain't stupid. You know what I'm saying? He got his check, he got the fight, and he still got his belt. Stop trying to throw us nuggets of shit like we seals, like we ain't gonna get it. We ain't seeing what you doing. Talking about Mauricio Suleiman. We see you, boo. In my Biggie voice. You see through, boo. We see you. But anyway, when you know better, you do better. I will see y'all tomorrow. Hopefully there's some more breaking news or something. We're getting ready to fight this fight this weekend. Y'all be sure to catch some of it. Dillian White is out of that fight. So I don't know which heavyweight's gonna be fighting, but I'm definitely gonna support by watching Boots fight Delorme. I feel he's gonna wash him. Then you got Darwin Price. I hope the boxing guys do something and load it up on YouTube so we can all see it. Definitely want to support that brother. So of course I see you guys tomorrow, and you guys have a good day. When you know better, you do better, right? Peace.